Cool. Well, we're so excited to have Justin Benson from Shiloh. He is going to be sharing how he has been successfully working with different agents and teams to build client avatars using AI and data with your transaction data, your sold data, your database, your CRM. Lots of cool success stories and CSV files and all that fun stuff. So, Justin, thank you so much for coming and sharing all of those stories. Cool technology stuff that goes way over my head, but hopefully I will learn some cool stuff. And I'm sure all of our viewers and audience today will learn some fun stuff from me today. So thank you for
Heck yeah.
joining.
Thanks for having me. You got your hands full having me and Jeff. This is morning time. It's 10 a.m. on our side. The coffee is like really kicking in at this
It's
point.
in.
Like it's
It's
ready to
in.
go. Yeah, it's going to be fun. And yeah, I promise this won't get to my hope and goal today is just to explain communication and using some simple methods to figure out how to communicate best to the right clients that we should be communicating to in a way where everybody listening can just go do it, whether you're live or you listen to the recording, that like this is something same day that you guys can implement. And it's not going to take you hours. It's literally going to take you less than 15 minutes to get it done. Right. So I wanted to be simple, but yet powerful to the organization. So
Yeah, and if you are joining us live here on Riverside, feel free to post any questions in the chat. I'll be helping manage that. And if we have time, we'll address any questions there.
up everyone. I am just posting up here. Yeah. I don't know. Jeff, you got anything to chime in with here?
I think we should probably start off by what are we going to go over today? Like, what is AI thing that you're going to be talking about?
What is the AI thing? Our overlords? I don't know. Terminator, Skynet? No, I guess I could start with like I'm the CEO founder of Shiloh. You guys might have heard about it out there. Where this AI, we're building Jarvis for real estate agents. It's this AI coach, trainer, and assistant, kind of all in one, natively integrated to your CRM. And we have been building this technology for almost 2.5 years now. At this point, way before AI was even cool. So yeah, the AI stuff is interesting. It covers a lot of bases, as we all know, and can feel overwhelming. So today, my goal is just to unpack it to like, okay, at Shiloh, we spend a lot of time thinking and obsessing over how do we communicate correctly to our clients? Like, how do we communicate correctly? How do we say the right thing, knowing that my personality style might be different than, say, Elena's, for example? How would I communicate what I'm trying to say to the best way to Elena? And do I need to slow down? Do I need to be less energetic? Do I need less coffee in the morning? Like, what do I need to do to like actually speak her language? So we're going to talk about how to understand those client avatars in your company, but while you like utilizing your past closing data, because everybody thinks about like, oh, I got to build client avatars. I'm going to go spend $100,000 on some marketing agency that's going to bring us through this exercise. There's actually a faster way to get to it. So we are not going to be doing that today. I'm going to be giving you guys a bit of a shortcut that's actually factually founded in data, because if there is one thing Shiloh, one thing AI is great at, it's the analysis of mass data, right? My disclaimer for the AI, for everybody that thinks that it's just a magician that can do all things, it can't do all things. It's really good at like singular tasks and creating analysis around very large data sets very, very quickly. But AI is like pretty bad at the context common sense game, right? And here's like, I actually just thought about this here. Check this out. I'm going to share my screen with everybody. This was an exercise I did with the Lawton team not too long ago. Sorry, I created a happy birthday thing for one of our employees. All you parents out there, you know, that's Rebel from Rebel and Crew. So here's a good example of AI. AI is very fancy autocomplete, right? So I know a lot of you guys don't know where Buckeye, Arizona is, but Buckeye, Arizona is a pretty rural community, and it comes with all the characteristics of what you would think is a rural community in Arizona. So without any previous prompting, I just said live in front of everybody, like complete the sentence. If you live in Buckeye, you probably drive a lifted truck with oversized tires and a flag in the bed, right? Okay, that's crazy. Like, you know, it doesn't know about Buckeye. It actually knows what is most common to be associated with Buckeye, and it spits that out. Again, very sophisticated autocomplete is the way that you can view it.
Where's it getting that information from?
Training. The billions and billions of dollars that these huge companies like OpenAI invest in training. The internet, all known data, all of those things. So it's going to spit out stereotypes, but there's a reason why this is stereotype, because this actually does show up a lot, right? So like in the cup holder of that truck, you'll find a half-drink Dutch Bros, a dusty chapstick, and a wrinkled receipt from Tractor Supply. Like, so true is the reality. And then you go a step further, like a kitchen was just remodeled with these features. Okay, the kitchen was remodeled with sleek white shaker cabinets, quartz countertops. You're like, okay, pendant lighting, farmhouse sink. Why is it saying this? Because this is what we see. This used to be cool like 8-10 years ago, and then when the Joanna Gaines and fam like put that out, but now every single flip has this kind of, and that's the reason why. But here I say all of this just to go, this is the disclaimer. I have a client in Mesa that wants a safe neighborhood they should live in, and it responded with Mesa. They want a safe neighborhood in Mesa. They should look in these areas. We know that we can't say this as real estate agents. We're not allowed to, like, this is illegal. This is redlining. It does not have context for the things that we're talking about, and it doesn't have common sense. So we really do have to treat AI still present day as like this incredible intern, where it's the intern's first day on the job. They're very good at what they do, but it's their first day on the job, and everything must be fact checked, right? So I'm just going to start with that baseline.
And we use a lot of AI in our business as well. And Justin is hitting it right on the head. We are feeding it all the information that we already know. Like, we are taking down and transcribing great calls and uploading it and saying, this is what it should sound like. Here's the objection handlers that you're using. So my question for that was, that's what I was alluding to, was where are they actually getting the information? Because if you're not inputting it or putting in your case studies, it's going to pull randomly from the internet. And you're going to have to read everything to make sure you're fact checking, and you would actually say that.
Well, even that like redlining example, like safe places to live in Mesa, it's the common sense thing. It doesn't know, like as a real estate agent, we would think it's like, okay, common sense that we should probably abide by the Department of Real Estate's laws, like we shouldn't tread upon fair housing rules, things like that, right? But the AI doesn't know any better, right? So like maybe Jeff, if you guys are building something internally as like this helper bot, then that's great. You just give it all of the Department of Real Estate and California's rules and all of the fair housing laws and things like that, and it'll do a better job at like sticking to the rails. So you ask it that question, and now it's going to go, yeah, actually, you can't talk about things like that, and here's why, and here's potentially some ways to chat about it in other ways, right? So it can be trained, but that's the hard part of the AI that everyone thinks is like easy, but it's not quite so easy. The brightest minds in the world are being recruited for $100 million a piece right now
per year.
Not because it's easy to build AI, obviously, because it's extremely difficult to get it right. Yeah. So let me show. Okay, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen real quick. Sorry for the infinity mirror screen. I just don't know how to do this otherwise. A couple things that I want to get into is this idea of building avatars, right? So I created this, let's see here, what's it called? Team transactions anonymized. So this is a real estate team. This is not fake data. This is a very, very large real estate team where I've anonymized all the data. We don't have real people's names in here or any of that stuff, but we do have real lead sources, all of the data that we need. This is an export of their last 12 months of closing data, or actually 6 months, I believe. It has all the relative information from like how much was compensation, list date, sell date, original list price, ending list price, gross agent commission, any of the fee splits that are coming into here, all the postal codes and all of that good stuff, right? This is really good information, and usually this data just goes like completely unused by us in real estate organizations. And there is so much freaking gold in here, right? So the first thing I wanted to show you guys, I pre-ran this just because when I'm using O3, like the smarter model, it takes like 4 to 5 minutes for it to get done doing like some of these things here. But again, we'll give you guys these prompts so you can do this on your own. But the first thing that we want to do here to get dialed in is, okay, great. Hey, you're an expert data analyst. Go through the CSV of past closings from a real estate team and create 4 to 5 segments of clients that make the most sense for the company to focus on based on what's most profitable to the team. a lot of us are just like, we don't know, even myself, even at Shiloh, we're going through this exercise right now. Like who's the best person for Shiloh? Like many times it's just like, I don't know, we'll sell a house to anybody that's got a pulse. Right. And yeah, maybe that's true in the very beginning, but as you continue to scale and grow, you want to become efficient at the way that you're doing things. Right. So with that being said, it went through all of this in about 3 minutes and 13 seconds. And it was like, okay, cool. This is where all the money's coming from. Okay, we got mid-range, we got Zillow Flex, sphere of influence, luxury clients, and then referrals, right? We can see the deal breakdowns, the share of those closings, average gross paid to teams, all of those good things, right? And then it broke it down into, okay, here's the reasons why, this is where almost all of the volume is coming from. It's got really healthy margins, the profile, like they already own a home, they're moving up, all of those good things. Really, really great. And a playbook, right? This gives us exactly like, here are the five, these are the 5 types of like segmented, basically price ranges and types of clients that live in these price ranges here. But we want to take, this is really great for, Jeff and like Elena and me. Like
I'm telling you right now what I'll do with it. I'm taking this exact information. I'm walking right over to the AI chat that we have for marketing and saying, can you please create marketing to directly towards these groups of people? Right? Utilizing the exact language. What video do I need to post? When should I post it? By connecting the 2 dots. And if you go back up to your prompt, what you did remarkably in that prompt, guys, look at the prompt. He gave it a role, he gave it context, and then he asked for a specific request, right? He didn't just say, can you look this up? He told it, you are an expert data analysis, right? Giving the identity for the prompt, and then he was able to push that out to be able to give it more. And then he gave the context and the request, and this spits it out right there for you.
Yeah. And I don't want to get into there's so much nuance to prompt engineering, but the way that you prompt O3 is different than the way that you prompt 4.0. So I use O3 because you can talk to it a little bit more like a human because it reasons within itself, right? So one thing that I want to hit on, it's like, I love that your brain already went there, which is, okay, we're going to take this and get to that next step. That's definitely what we want to do, right? This even gives us like really good playbook stuff, like ruthless speed to lead, sub 2-minute callbacks on these Zillow. For all of you Zillow Flex teams out there, you know that this is very, 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 very true, right? So use Shiloh's real-time call coaching to lift conversion. I didn't even ask it to do that, which is awesome. It is searching the internet to do that. I literally did not read that until just now. That's freaking awesome. Okay, and then the next thing that we want to do here is go, great, this is really great data for your team leads, but how do we turn this into a way that we can learn how to communicate? Like, how do we actually, like telling a new agent on your team, oh, here's the 5 categories of people that we mostly sell homes to. Move up mid-range buyers. Like that's like putting your core values of integrity and honesty on the wall that nobody is freaking going to remember. We have to make this much more personal so that way it can create shared language across our organization. So the next thing that you're going to see is down underneath this, I have a much longer prompt now. So, hey, based on these segments, create 5 client avatars that are specific to this team with catchy, memorable, alliterative names for each. The avatars need to be extremely detailed. Here are some things that need to be basically a part of it. Tell a story of who they are, general demographic data, all of this information that's here. I don't want to just rattle this off. You guys can all read. And a detailed explanation about why you selected this avatar for the data, because we're going to be using this as training material. So why does that last thing matter is because if a new agent or even an agent that's not new on the team is reading this and they go, why should I care about this? Well, we should say like, oh man, well, that avatar actually constitutes for X amount of closings. And it actually is the highest grossing avatar that we have on the team, right? And then from there, okay, great. We're going to do everything in the first person. We want this avatar to be speaking towards us. And then here's the output. So it thought for some time, and then it put together, I asked it for 2 different versions. I want a long detailed version that we can put into a training PDF or in digital format. And then I want a second quick glance sheet that we can just like hang up around the office somewhere for people to be able to see this stuff moving forward, right? So now we're getting closer now, right? We got move up Molly. That's much more memorable than move up mid-range buyers. Okay, we got move up Molly. So now we can create we can create verbiage around this. We can sit in a training session and go, all right, today what we're going to do is what we're going to focus on is like how to communicate to our move up mollies that are out there, right? And then this will, hey there, I move up Molly. My husband and I bought our starter home 8 years ago. Our 2 kids, a doodle dog, and a nice hybrid work schedule have us bursting at the seams. You know, this is our average kind of projected salary between the both of us, and we got this much in equity. Our target budget is somewhere around here inside the Chandler School District. It's doing this because I live in Arizona and because all of this training data that I gave was from Arizona. It's going to say like, this is how you'll spot me really fast. And then here we go with like DISC vibes. So do either of you guys, are you familiar with DISC?
Yes.
Yes, Elena? Yeah. Okay. Do you guys know what yours are?
I'm a high D.
You're a high D?
Yeah.
Oh, I
When
love
you get
that.
to know her, you'll see it.
Oh no, I can the need to see movement in her personality for sure. What's the secondary one?
I don't remember the letter. It was the analytical one.
C is the C. S is steadfast. C is like I forget what it stands for, but it basically means like you want detail. You're very analytical. So, Jeff, I can guess, but what is yours?
Pretty much right around there. Like I want it done yesterday, and I want to know how. Like
You're
I'm
more outspoken than I am, but yeah, you're bursting at the seams of D.
Yeah, I'm get it. Where's it at? How come nobody invented this 20 years ago? Let's rock and roll. Let's move. Let's move. Let's move.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm a high D, a little bit lower I, so I care about people, bringing people in, taking people with me, you know, all of that stuff. And then S and C is basically non-existent on mine. I do not care about like steadfastness, and I don't spend much time on the details side, which you would think is interesting. That's a learned trait of mine as kind of like a software person, that I actually do care a lot about detail, but it's done in a very different way, right? So all I'm saying is that this, if you're listening and there's like one thing you can take away, just go learn the DISC. This is no endorsement. I've got no, I think maybe it's open source at this point. You can go take free tests to figure out what your DISC assessment is. Yeah. I'm not doing this to push anything. I'm saying if you understand how you communicate and you start to learn how you communicate, and then you also figure out how to spot how other people communicate, that's not just good for your clients. That's good for your marriage, your relationships with your kids, with like, it is pervasive through all of life at that point. It is not just a skill for learning how to sell better. It is a skill that will make things easier in your life, right? So the reason I had it break down DISC is because it's an easy way to manage framework that's a little easier to describe than like, I love the Enneagram as well, but the Enneagram takes some time to unpack to people. DISC is much faster to unpack. So this is also going to give us, hey, move up Molly, generally, she's an SC. She's kind of slow moving, kind of scared, risk adverse, but very detail minded. Makes a lot of sense. So, hey, if you're high D, like all of us on this call, open with the timeline, equity numbers, and next steps, and like one clear slide, meaning like, just slow down and give data, give facts behind this thing, right? If you're a high I, this is what you should do. As an S, you should do these things. As a C, you should do these things, right? And then here's like what keeps me up at night. Here's how you can win me, where to find more like me, and why I matter. You know, last year for my fellow Move Up Mollies, closed 408 deals, 23.5% of the volume on this team, delivered 4.88 million in GCI, 25% of every dollar you earned. Ignore us and you turn off quarter of your revenue stream, right? Okay, now we know that Molly matters. And we're gonna go through all of these things. We got, now it's Flex Felix over here. Same situation, Sphere Seller Sam, Luxury Lana, and Referral Riley. This is really awesome because now we know not just like who we should communicate, but how to communicate to them. And this, being able to give this to a new hire, for example, when you're training an agent from zero to trying to get them ready to sell their first house, this creates common verbiage between themselves and even with other team members. So they can say, hey, I'm having trouble with a Referral Riley. This is the, and everybody in the organization, we don't have to spend all of this time like unpacking what it is. We all know what Referral Riley is, and we can get right to it right away and make our training sessions much more productive because we don't have to explain to the entire group, this is what this is. If it's like, if you don't know what Referral Riley is and you're on this team, you should probably go spend tonight memorizing these things because we're not going to spend any time explaining these, right?
And from there, like there's add-ons you can do if you have the data, right? You can go and pull calls that were good calls for the new hires to listen to of how you handled the Mollies and the Rileys, and that way they can hear it, they can see it, they can practice it, and one step at a time be able to move it down the funnel. But you wouldn't have access. All you had was data, and now we have psychology and all this other stuff is being born from it.
Yeah, it's just a reminder that like we get excited about this. Some people do, but like this isn't quite good enough. This is a good like it's not shaped into a sculpture that you can give to people quite yet. It's kind of just like this is the raw clay, you know, this data that's here, and then this is like sort of molded into the shape of the thing we're thinking about, and now we have it defined at this point. We can point at it, we can identify it, we can talk about it. It gives real tangible ways to implement these things. Again, make sure that you fact check this stuff. Some of this is wrong. Like one thing that I realized that might actually be wrong in here was its computation on 4.88 million in GCI, 25% of every dollar they earned. That cannot be true because this is a $1 billion plus team. Is where this data came from. So only 4.88 million being 25% of the GCI is not that is not correct, right? So I already caught like a mistake there. Again, this is really great. Make sure that you fact check things. So
yeah. And before you continue, Justin, I just want to point out that this is just a sneak peek of what you'll be sharing live in almost a month, exactly a month from now. So for those who don't know, we're going to be coming live to you in person on August, what's the day? August 29th. So yeah, exactly a month from today.
From now.
Yeah, I was like about a month from now. So in Dallas, make sure I'm sharing the right slide. On August 29th, Justin, front and center on the slide, will be joining us on August 29th in Dallas all day, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in downtown Dallas. You can scan the QR code. I'll just put the link in the chat. And he'll be sharing in much more detail of how to take this data and then strategize for your sales. I'm probably totally messing up your presentation there, but yeah, super.
Bring your laptops, people. Bring your laptops. Plug in.
The hair's back here for all of you that are worried. It's just in a bun because that mop is a lot to take care of. Is that Andrew Flackner up there at the top left? Was he 19? Yeah, Andrew, I hope you hear this. I think he's got different headshots.
Yeah, we have different headshots. We need to update that one for sure.
Oh, man. So there's a couple things. Again, I'll share the link. I don't know. Is it best to put the link of those prompts in here, Elena? I can just share that here. I'm going to copy and paste
and then
this
we can
data.
email it to everybody who came on today as well.
And then you guys can email it. So there's a link to all of that there. Communication matters. It's not, we spend so much time obsessing around. The reason why we got even familiar with this communication stuff is because Shiloh is coaching, grading, doing a lot of really great stuff with calls, like very, very specific, almost to the point where we're actually behind the scenes, we are disc profiling both the client and the agent having that conversation and even matching up the agent coaching that we are giving to that real estate agent for that specific client, right? So we're doing some of this like heavy lifting on the persona side for people without them actually knowing it, but it's still really great for real estate teams to have this common verbiage. We have the same thing inside of Shiloh. In my real estate teams that I've run in the past, one that spanned 3 states and sold a lot of houses every year, we had client personas. And I didn't come up with this. I actually got it from a friend that worked at Lululemon, and I got their like culture handbook from Lululemon. And they had, Lululemon is so good at indoctrinating people into the cult of Lululemon when you work there, basically. And it's really great. They have different names for everything. Like instead of it being a team meeting, it's named something else, they have all these specific names, but more so, they have this ability to highlight. You'll walk. I don't know if they still do it, but they did in the past, where they would do things like somebody would walk through the room or walk through the front door, and they would say in like their earpieces, like, "Hey, has anybody helped up that Jill yet?" And everyone knew in the store, like, "Oh, that's a Jill. Like, probably these 3 people are best that are on the shift right now to go talk to that Jill right now." It was that specified as to who would even interact with the person that walked through the front door of that store, trying to match up personality types right away with people, right? So
I'm pumped up.
Yeah, it's fun to see, and the AI stuff will continue to expand, and all of that good stuff. But I don't know if anybody's scared that it's going to take your job as a no, like the actual service provider. That job is so safe. I think team leaders' jobs are in jeopardy. My job as a CEO is in jeopardy before the real estate agent's job is in jeopardy, because there's hundreds and hundreds of things that happen during a transaction that require so much domain expertise and so much knowledge and so much nuance that the AI is so far away from being proficient at that stuff. It's just the true reality of things right now, right? So learning how to utilize it, definitely important, but don't fear it. Like it is something that's going to be there to help augment and help people as time goes on.
Yeah, it's simply just a tool, man. It helps you get better, helps you move faster. For us, we're revamping the way we do everything, and exactly what you showed is the things that we're trying to do to make sure the next generation of realtor that joins the team has an easier pathway than the guy that had to go memorize 50 different scripts and all this other stuff. So that's if every team and every agent, even if you're a solo agent, you should do the same thing.
Oh yeah,
right?
1000%. This is not
Exactly
just
what.
for teams. Yeah,
No, this is where are your people coming from? Start to do this analysis on your friends and families, right? How can you be a better communicator? And I think that was a really important aspect that you brought up, Justin, was that it's communication. These tools are going to help us communicate with people. And if you're in real estate, that's going to help you close more transactions.
Yeah, and you can rest assured knowing that you're actually going after the people that matter the most to your business, whether you're a solo agent, you're on a team, or you're a team leader, whatever stage you're in. Having the data backing your knowledge of going, okay, it's worth spending time on this thing, because the data shows that it's worth spending time on this thing, makes us more productive and profitable as real estate agents and as teams if we focus on these specific buckets, right? So I'm excited to see how we're going to expand upon this in more depth in Dallas, obviously. So I hope to see everybody there, because there we're going to unpack more of like, here's the different selling styles that go into this, right? So there's the DISC personality profile, which is great. It's a good baseline, but we all have some core instincts on like what our selling style is. And you don't have to change who you are to communicate and sell to a different person, actually. You can rely on the things that you are, the most comfortable with, but still communicate it in a way, because we know the DISC test, in a way that is going to be effective with maybe a polar opposite personality type than you, right? So I really want to unpack this idea that like you don't have to change who you are. Nobody wants that. They want a genuine, like, real person is the real reality. They want to trust you, and nobody trusts somebody that's pretending to be some chameleon at the end of the day. So that's what a used car salesman's persona is. Like, they'll be whatever you want them to be in order to sell you a car today, right? No, we don't have to be that. We can be ourselves while still being effective communicators. So we're going to unpack a bunch of that stuff live.
Yeah, and another thing is you don't have to feel overwhelmed by AI and feel like you have to spend 8 hours a day every day learning it. You can just take something like Justin just shared, and it won't take you very long to initially implement something, and you can just implement a little bit at a time. Like, you might sign up for a course and see that it's like 20 hours worth, but that doesn't mean you have to like turn off everything else and dedicate 2 or 3 weeks towards it. No, just do a little bit at a time. And
no, it's a core skill. It's just like, how did we all learn how to get good at Google searching? We just Google searched a bunch of things a bunch of times over the past God knows how many years. It's the same core skill set. Like, how do I use it? You just start using it, and you'll start to understand what it's looking for, what it wants, some of the keyword things like that. It'll start to become second nature. So yeah, definitely don't feel overwhelmed. Just start playing around with it and see what feels right and try it on. So
yeah, for sure. Well, Justin, thank you for joining today. For those who had to hop off early or late, you'll catch the recording if you registered. Hope to see you in Dallas. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, you guys.